If you have cats at home or on the homestead, you've probably had a plant destroyed by one of these fur friends. In this video, I'm going to show you how I built a cat-proof grow stand. For a few years, I've started plants underneath grow lights that were held up by a small stand. This works great until my cats sit on the humidity domes, eat the plants, or dig the dirt out of the pot and throw the plants out. Yeah, that all has happened to me. I needed to come up with a solution to protect my seedlings, especially from my youngest cat. She's just a terrorist when it comes to anything that has a green leaf to it. I started out this project with building a one-tier base. It is 4 foot long, 2 foot wide, and 2 foot in height. I wanted this bottom layer to have more height when needing to bend down and bring out the plants. And this also allows me to have space for any taller plants as well. I know I could have bought a middle shelving unit and surrounded it with chicken wire, but I didn't have enough bottom trays without holes or cracks. I wanted something that would catch water. Nothing is worse than having to wipe up water from some good flooring. I bought these jumbo boot trays from Gardener's Supply Company. For the grow lights, I used what I had. I already had some grow lights on hand, but I also used some LED shop lights. Then, during random trips to Lowe's, we found other grow lights on clearance. I think some were about $10 each when originally they were around $60. To begin building, measure the length and the width of the boot tray that you plan to use. I made a rough estimate and then adjusted it as needed. The wood I used was given to me by my one brother. For the front and rear pieces, measure, draw a line with a straight edge, and then cut your wood. Here I use a battery-powered circular saw, then repeat with the right and left sides. Pre-drill your holes, then add your screws. Pre-drilling prevents the wood from splitting from the screws. Also make sure to use a square as well to find your right angles. Double check the length and the width of the boards. Make any adjustments on your design. The one major adjustment I make is I add 2 boards on the right and left sides. My grow lights are essentially 4 foot long. With the chicken wire encompassing the whole stand, I couldn't have my grow lights sticking out the sides. I added 2 more boards to create the stand 4 foot long. I needed to make this grow stand long enough for them to fit inside. When adding the legs to the stand, I place the base on the workbench and stand the leg up, starting to attach it on the bottom. Working from the bottom of the leg, measure where you would like the bottom of the next layer to go. Here, I want about 18 inches between each tier. After making another base for the boot trays, I attached it with 2 screws to each leg. Work on completing the final base to support the top of the legs. This is to hold the grow stand together. Once it is built, continue to assemble the grow stand. If you temporarily add a boot tray, it can work as a workbench. It worked great for my project right here. Using an electric sander, sand all sides of the boards. Before painting, place some plastic protective layer on the flooring. This could be a tarp, or in my case, I use pellet bags and some Walmart bags, just underneath where the boards would be getting painted. For the paint, I used some discount paint we had on hand. I love painting projects white, so having a large 5-gallon bucket of white paint is a lifesaver. I reused a plastic container that lunch meat comes in. So I washed it out, I used it to keep a small amount of paint in, and I used a regular paintbrush versus using a paint roller or foam brushes. Moving on to creating the doors, my husband uses the radial arm saw to quickly cut the wood to size for the doors. Since I want both sides of the wood for the doors to be painted, and I don't want any pieces of wood showing, I end up sanding and painting the wood first. I built the first door. The chicken wire is stapled on, as well as the top and side boards holding it together. I start by unraveling the chicken wire, laying it on top of the bottom boards. Using wire cutters, cut the chicken wire. Then use a staple gun to staple the wire to the board. We ran into problems here where the staple gun would jam, then jam, and jam again. What I discovered is the staple gun needs to be level with the board and the staple should center the wire. If these two things are not done, the staple gun will jam. If the staples do not go down the whole way, which a lot of mine did not, use a hammer to pound them in. When attaching the bottom and side boards for the door, use a square to double check the angle. As you can see here, I sandwiched the chicken wire between the two boards. I use a pair of pliers to face the edges of the wire upward to then pound down with the hammer. I finally finished stapling the chicken wire to the board. With the doors complete, I work on stapling the chicken wire to the main frame of the grow stand. The original plan was to cut out pieces for the left, back, and right sides. While completing the base grow stand, my husband suggested we keep the wire together. After moving the stand so the one side faces upward, drape the chicken wire over top of that, begin stapling at the edge, and work your way towards the other side. Once that is complete, turn the grow stand so that the back side faces upward. It is easier to use the staple gun when it faces down. Begin stapling along the side that you left off on. Work your way down to the other edge. Move the stand again so that the top will be the second side. Cut the chicken wire, leaving enough to staple to the leg. Then finish stapling. Place staples in the middle of the frame so that there is no chance of a fur friend climbing up through. It's almost done. I work on adding the hinges to the doors. I pre-drill a small hole to then screw in the screws by hand. This may not be a technical way to add a hinge, but it's my creative way. I place some duct tape on the inside of the hinge. I line up the door to where I would like it. I place the other side of the tape onto the leg that the door will attach to. To catch the door, I use a chair with a box of rags. With leaving the tape on, we're going to drill a hole. Then add the screws before removing the tape. Do the same on the other door in order to finish. To move it upstairs, I leave out the boot trays and the grow lights. It is easier to transport than keeping it all together. In the original design, I wanted to have some locking mechanism to keep the door shut. At this point, I have a small chain to loop between the wires. It keeps it shut enough to keep the cats away from the plants, but I do plan on replacing this in the future. With the grow lights, my husband added in hooks for chains. The chains attach to the grow lights. When buying grow lights, majority of them do have chains with them. If you use LED lights you already have, Lowe's and Walmart sell links of chain that you can use as well as the hooks for the lights. Is this grow stand truly cat proof? Does it really keep the cats out? Well, let's take a look. Majority of the time, yes, unless you leave the door open. My cat has snuck into the grow stand before, hiding in there, acting as if she is a plant that needs light to grow. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to A Farmette in Bloom for more homemade and homegrown projects.